What's up, gamers and viewers? It's been a good week for gaming, sorta. Anyways, let's talk about what I tackled this week. This week I tackled EA's Deadspace 3. It's a game from Visceral, which has a huge controversy surrounding it. Basically, microtransaction for DLC, which I'll talk about later on at the end of the video. I did buy all the DLC just for the sake of review and video. So the game story continues from part 2 as Isaac is called in by EarthGov to rescue Ellie, who's sent an SOS from another planet. At the same time, he's being chased by Unitologists. If you don't know who the Unitologists are, you should definitely read up on that. They are a bunch of fanatics who believe that the markers contain mankind's salvation. So anyways, the game itself, the story is pretty dramatic this time around, definitely, you know, with new characters added, some of the old returning faces, but definitely the voice acting is fine as usual, the characters, the emotions, it's definitely there, but the story itself, I thought it was just okay, because it was kind of expected, and many people called out what's going to happen during the game, which I've noticed, and, you know, it was pretty much cliched for a lot of people, so it was alright. It wasn't that bad of a game. So anyways, we're going to talk about other stuff in the game also, about the graphics. The graphic itself on the PC is really well done. You can actually do a lot of settings in the game. As you can see here, I'll demonstrate some of the settings you can do. A lot of people don't know this. It took me about 2 hours in to figure out that, hey, you don't want to use high settings. You actually want to go to customs, and if you have a really powerful rig, you definitely want to set that up. The only problem I had with the graphic really was that the texture was not really, it was okay, but thank God I got the PC version because we can definitely fix that with a mod, HT, so that's a good plus. A lot of people didn't like the texturing of the game, but you know what, you get what you get with this game, so it was pretty well done. Especially in the graphic and the options you can choose for the game itself. The other thing I like to point out is after playing 1 and 2, the graphic is hauled up a bit. Definitely different art style going on. You can tell it's definitely a little different, but not too different from the original. The game this time is definitely a lot more faster around, a lot of necromorphs. There's only a few new ones. The only problem with that is you get a lot of recycled necromorphs. The thing is, they do something, they're tweaked up a bit, they move faster, they might do some different stuff, but they're basically the same necromorphs from the other games. They didn't really make anything really new except for a few here and there, but you'll see a few familiar necromorphs here and there, so it's pretty cool, and definitely new ones are pretty cool too. The music and sound of the game is well done, as usual. I like the music in the game, the track is pretty nice. The sound itself is pretty nice also. Other than that, that's pretty much for the sound and the music of the game. Now the biggest change to this game is definitely going to be the gameplay. It's a bit speeded up, like I said before. The way necromorphs are made, there's a ton more of them to surround you. This time around, it's more of a survival horror action game. It's not really the same scary feeling you get like before for a lot of people, so they were kind of upset about that. But you know what? I still enjoyed the game, even though it's an action thriller, because I like the series itself. Some people do like the series and enjoyed it. It's a bit of a change, but it's not too bad. I mean, some of the main concept is there. The other thing about this is also the core combat is a little different. They added some stuff that were unnecessary, I would say. But at the same time, they added some cool stuff in the game, which is, it's alright. Well, at least the game isn't completely rebooted, which is, I'm glad for that. It'd be kind of bad to reboot the series. Definitely cry. Anyways, the puzzles and some of the things in this game I did find unnecessary. They were created for co-op, but if you did it by yourself, they were baby puzzles. I mean, they were pretty easy and very cliche for me. I mean, I've hate baby puzzles. Why throw those in? I don't know why, but they had to throw something in to change up the gameplay. They threw a lot of stuff in there that changed up the gameplay too, just to keep you not bored, I guess. You have the flying in space kind of shooting action when you're flying into space. You remember those? Certain areas you had the optional quests you can do, which is kind of cool. You have there's one sequence where you do turret shooting, which was alright. I guess it's the only turret sequence in the game, and then there was also a part where you do ice climbing. I remember that, climbing with my partner. Just funny watching the partner die a lot, and pretty much it. I guess the cool part for me was exploring in space. That was a pretty cool addition to the game right there, because you can explore space a bit around the space stations and the spaceships, the wrecks. The other thing about them this time is that there's no benefits for having different armor. I mean, there's DLCs of armors, they look really cool, but that's all they really do. They just look cool. They don't make you more powerful in any ways, they don't benefit your character. They just go on you and make you look cool. Unfortunately, that's all they do. So that's the thing about the armor, which is okay in my books and for some people, but some people probably like the aspect of having buffs with their armor. So anyways, this time around, the only way to upgrade your armor also is not through power nodes or anything like that, but you have to use resource spots to craft weapons, to do anything at all. You have to use resource spots to find the resources at node points. You know, you drop the robot down, let him do his thing. It'll take a certain amount of time, depending on if you have the DLC or not. He'll carry a certain amount of resources, bring it back to you, and pretty much this is how you also buy stuff, because the store doesn't exist anymore. You just basically make it out of resources. I'll show you exactly where the resource is. The resources you collect is going to be on your bottom right of this menu right here. You'll see the bunch of resources you collect. The other thing about it is it's pretty annoying waiting for the robot to come back, so you ended up, you know, waiting for a very long time to get some good resources. Sometimes you can get it from enemies too, not every time, but the only problem is the resources take a while, so you end up having to buy the DLC to make it go faster if you're impatient. That's the other thing about the DLC gist. But making weapons, if you find other things, you can actually break it down and sell it for resources is pretty much what you do. You sell it, it becomes either scraps, it becomes metal, it becomes tungsten, it becomes all sorts of resources, transcenders, you know, etc. And you use these resources to craft med kits, you craft bullets, you craft everything, and the pieces for your guns it's needed to craft. The other aspect of this game is the weapon aspect. Now I'm going to definitely get into that, how the weapons work, and explain it to you as easy as possible. I'm going to make this very easy. You know, a lot of people saw me doing this. I'm like, man, gee, Canuddy, this looks really complex. It's really not. It's got a little bit of customization, but all the customization becomes the same later on, and I'll show you why. Because, you know, you can choose certain things for the gun and then just make it the same gun. And but the cool thing about it is just having that customization there. It's a pretty cool deal, definitely. So I like this aspect of the game a lot. And don't forget, this time around, the ammo is also universal bullets, so everything uses the same ammo. It doesn't really use different ammo. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. I think the good news about it is that the fact that it does this, because it makes it much more easier for you to manage ammo. Because I remember in the first two, all I've used is the plasma cutter, man. I've never played this game with anything else except a plasma cutter until Deadspace 3. So basically, plasma cutter, same bullets. You know, I threw away all the other bullets, sell them off, and I ended up just having the bullets I wanted. I hated having the same other bullets in my inventory all the time and not being able to use it, because all I've, you know, took with me was a plasma cutter. So to a lot of people, I guess that's a plus. Also, the other thing about the game is the way you upgrade the gun. I'll get into that in a little bit after I show you how the customization works right now. Basically, guys, this time around, this game, instead of nodes to upgrade your weapons, you're upgrading your weapons through chips. To create the chips, you need the resources, or you find the chips themselves. Once you find the chips, you can actually create that chip. So in the beginning, your chips are not that great. Later on, you get better chips. The most important thing people go for is always damage, but you know, you can go any way you want. I found speed to be reliable also. Clip can be reliable, and reloading faster can be reliable. You want to do that, but I don't think it also goes over the threshold of the damage of the weapon. I'm going to demonstrate to you what it looks like once you upgraded your weapon. So the amount of damage is varied, the speed is varied depending on what chip you use. That's just a little demonstration of what happens if you use those chips. There's a scavenger bot returning, and we're gonna go over how weapons work. Basically, with the creation of weapons, it's pretty simple. You can also use the blueprints provided for you if you find them, or you can actually create your own custom blueprints, put them in there. It tells you the requirement and cost of the resources, what the damage does, you know, how many chips can go in there, all the information, etc. To customize your weapon, I'm going to go over how this is done. You basically select the frame, heavy frames, small frames. Depending on the frame you use, you're going to create that certain type of weapon, and then you're going to create an upper tool and a bottom tool. Basically, that's basically the weapon itself. It's going to be two weapons in one. So the top weapon, let's say I pick Ripcord just for fun. The tip is gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen to your weapon, like how it's gonna be fired. So this is a bad demonstration. I'm gonna go back and pick another one. Let's do a good example. Plasma cutter. You change the tip, you get kinetic powers, kinetic beams. Sorry about that. Or you change another tip, you can get rails. I mean, it really depends on the tip you use. A machine gun. Go back to the core right here because I like ripcore just for fun. So basically, I'm gonna choose the other tip, so it shoots salt. And basically, the lower tool is gonna determine what's gonna be your secondary fire. For a lot of people confused, the rotator cuff module is what makes your weapon spin. For example, the plasma cutter, etc. So that's there for you if you're confused about that. But let's do something fun. I'm gonna do something just for an example. I like to do hydraulic system is a cool melee kind of thing. It just lets you basically do melee with it. And you can change the tip for all the weapons you choose here also. So basically, it's gonna be a heavy flamethrower. It can be magnesium flame. It could be ice. So the weapon customization is pretty cool. Do the little attachment, and there you go. These little attachments on top and bottom, you can have two attachment. They either buff your weapon or buff your co-op partner. If you don't play co-op, it's pretty useless. Some of the stuff for scoping, explosion amplifiers, or protection against explosion, splash shield. Ammo sweepers automatically pick up ammo for you. You know, just all that little gadgets and widgets that you can put on your little weapon. Doesn't really do much, but it benefits it a little bit. And here with this weapon, I can only put in 2 chips because the frame only allows 2 chips. But basically, pretty much is how this is all pretty much how you create your weapon. I'm gonna demonstrate how the weapon works for you, and once I put it all together with the chips. And just keep in mind, you can only carry 2 weapons in this game, so therefore 4 weapons total, I guess, depending on how you make it. So there's your flamethrower. Once you use the secondary scopes in, does a little pulling. This weapon kind of looks badass. I might use it sometime. But yeah, you can create some pretty cool, unique weapons with your choices. I mean, it looks cool. You can show it off to your co-op partner, I guess. But you can't really play it in multiplayer, which is kind of disappointing. I always wanted multiplayer to come back, so I can create your own weapon and use it. Maybe future DLC for multiplayer, but we'll never know. So that's the demonstration of the weapon itself. It's pretty cool. Pretty much, if you beat the game, you can go online and play co-op if you want to, which is okay. I mean, it's got co-op gameplay. You can play with another character. He'll unlock new areas you can go to. But if you haven't done that already, once you beat the game, you can do a new game plus. You can do classic mode, pure survival, and hardcore. And you can pretty much pause and read what each one does, pretty much. And it'll tell you exactly what they do. So pretty much by unlocking these, you unlock other items like devil horns, overclocked parts, and hardcore retro mode. I haven't seen retro mode yet because I've actually died in hardcore at 11 hours in. So it was my fuck up on my part. I'll definitely maybe do a game run sometime on YouTube. Who knows? But as promised, I'll show you guys the DLCs. Like I said before, the DLCs are not required in this game. They don't really do anything for you as much. I mean, they just basically take away some of the hindrance in the game. For example, the bot takes a long time to come back, so it makes the bot comes back faster. Talvalantis survival kit, bot personality pack, just gives the bot a personality, some speech and sarcasm, and there's the price for them. The sharpshooter, tundra pack, marauder pack. Now everything together cost me about 25 bucks. The pieces of the weapons you can break apart, put in your other weapons. They look kind of cool. They don't really do much except give you a bit more boost in stats. And they're not even top tier, so there's no worries. I mean, the shotgun is probably the best thing you can get because the shotgun is pretty much overpowered, blows enemies to pieces. Also with the bot capacity where you can get more ammo and items with the bot, but that's pretty much it. It cuts the time for it, so you don't really need these packs. They're just there to, how do I say it, just basically milk you of your pennies and change. But it should have been something that was included in the game, but they wanted to do, make do with it as a DLC. It's understandable. They want to make some bucks, so like I said before, you don't have to get it if you don't want to, but if you are a huge fan of the game and you really want it and you gotta have it, go ahead and buy it. That's all they really do. They're just cosmetics and just money milkers. But and there's another thing I don't like about it. A lot of people didn't like about it, but like I said before, I guess the AI for the bot can be annoying sometimes too, but it's probably the only good thing out of it. So there you have it. Basically, guys, my final say about the game is that this game is a solid sci-fi shooter. There are certain parts I didn't like about it, especially the puzzles, I guess, and the little random stuff they put in there. And I hated the fact that they took away the multiplayer aspect of the game. That's pretty much the only con about the game, but everything here in this video, like I've always said in all my videos, is based on my opinion, and you should never, ever, ever, reflect everything on about my opinion, because I like every game, so I don't bash them. I don't become a fanboy of the series or whatnot, because I like to see good games, but at the same time, I want people who make the games realize that they can make it even better by seeing what people don't like about the game. And basically, these are my opinions about it. If you have any opinion yourself, respect. Like I said before, you should never listen to anyone else's opinion to sway your opinion about a game. It's all about having fun. And sorry about the late video since it's Asian New Year's. Happy New Year's to all of you out there. It took me a while to get the video out, but I'm probably going to tackle Aliens Colonial Marines tonight. A lot of reviews have popped up. People are saying negative things. I don't even care. I never ever listen to people. I play for myself. I make my own opinion about it. I see what's good about it, what needs to be worked on, give them the advice they need, and that's how you do it. So, if you're always looking at games positively, you're always going to have fun. If you look at it negatively and bash everything you see, you probably won't enjoy it as much. So if you enjoy my opinions, if you enjoy, my videos, go ahead and subscribe, hit me up, stop by my stream, voice your opinion about it. You're always free to talk in there. If you hate something, just be like, that game is shit. I don't really care. Hey, that's your opinion. If you don't like something, you shouldn't play it. And like I said before, just keep gaming on.